Okay, so I may have gotten a little carried away with this project. Pip-Boys look super dope, and as I'm working on a Lucy McLean from the Fallout series cosplay, I figured I needed a working Pip-Boy. And instead of just buying one, I decided it would be a good idea, yet to be seen, to try and build it myself. So the goal is to take this shell that I bought off of Etsy from a 3D printer and combine it with some hardware to turn it into a fully working device. Real touchscreen and everything, though the knobs and whatnot that I still have to finish won't control it, but maybe I'll make them turn and like click. I don't know. I started working on the shell for the Pip-Boy a couple of months ago. It came just straight up 3D printed. I had to sand the shit out of it with different grits of sandpaper and got some sanding sponges like the blocks and just really went to town on it for days and days. And even then, if you look closely, there are still some wavy areas you can see even with the layers of primer and paint. I used spray primer and like Bondo spray and spray paint, followed by brushing some watered down acrylic black paint into the crevices to darken them. I think I may still add some more, to be honest. I still have to put in all the little bolts and whatnot that hold this together, and clearly I need to do a little sanding so things close more smoothly. Those are details I can continue to perfect. I mean, I still haven't even sprayed it with the clear coat on the outside, so it's definitely still tweakable. Right then, my mom texted me and asked me to open up the greenhouse for some airflow and lightly water the seedlings in there, which was probably good because the way I get with my projects, it's like a time warp. I just get so into them. And I also take so long to do them because I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I can't just build something in a day, but that's neither here nor there. So let's get into the items, starting off with this ESP32S3 microcontroller. It's basically the brain of the whole build. It is what's running all the code, talking to the screen, handling inputs, all that. So anything that happens on this device is going through this first. Trying to be so careful not to bend the pins. Oh my god, that would ruin my day. Next, I have some female to female jumper wires. I had some other ones, but they were like male to female and whatnot, and I could have doctored them, but I wanted to just buy these and have some since I didn't have any. Then there's the 3.2-inch SPI touchscreen. This is a screen that the ESP32 is controlling, and it will show my Pip-Boy interface. Next is the 3.7 volt LiPo, I don't know, battery. If I want this thing to actually be wearable, it needs its own power source. The next piece is the TP4056 charging module. This is what handles charging the battery. So instead of pulling the battery out every time or doing something sketchy, this just lets me plug it in and safely charge it, and it also prevents overcharging, which is kind of important. And the step-up voltage converter, this is where it gets a little more technical. The battery doesn't actually output enough voltage on its own for everything to run properly, so this takes that power and boosts it up to a usable level so the ESP32 and screen don't just freak out. And then this is just a simple power switch, so I can actually turn the whole thing on and off like a normal device instead of unplugging wires. I think that would get annoying really fast. I don't know if this is going to be the perfect one or anything, but it's what I have for the moment. I don't know if I'll need this, but I also got Girl's Best Friend, which is 3/4-inch electrical tape, and then I thought I needed a data portable USB-C to USB-C cable, but it turns out my ESP doesn't even, it's not that one. Then this is the moment where I realized, because of the device that I was recording this with, there has been a filter, like a slimming filter, slimming my face and my nose and making my eyes bigger this entire time. Oh my god. Okay, so I turned that off. And I guess that's everything I'm working with at this point. And now I need to actually see if I can get this thing to do anything. Side break for my keyboard. I really would love to build one of these one day. I mean, I've built my own PC, so I think that's the next progression. This is also a little Battle Fury magnetic key thingy I got when I was in Berlin. I'm sure you can just order them online, but I don't know. I got it at a keyboard store in Berlin, and it always reminds me of that trip, which is really sweet. So first things first, I need a way to actually program this, and for that I'm going to use the Arduino IDE. It's my first time using this program, but with everything available online for help, I think it should be easy enough to figure out how to get some code in here. Out of the box, Arduino doesn't exactly know what an ESP32 is, or at least not the one I'm working with. So I have to install support for it, and I swear I don't know what I'm doing. As I'm sure you can see, I'm just clicking around. I mean, I was literally learning this in real time, so I figured out because I have the Espressif board, I needed to add the ESP32 board package from Espressif, which you can see me finding here. This basically gives the Arduino, or gives Arduino IDE, everything it needs to talk to this specific chip. Not gonna lie, this part took forever. By forever, I mean probably 10 to 12 minutes. Sigh. This is a time lapse of that process. Please enjoy. So when I install this, it starts downloading a ton of stuff. And it looks kind of crazy, but it's basically just grabbing all the tools it needs to actually compile code and send it to the board. So once this is done, Arduino can finally talk to the ESP32 properly. Wow, look at that. Now I'm plugging the ESP32 into my computer. Let me know if you can see from this first step what I did wrong. Foreshadowing, IDK. After selecting ESP32S3 dev module and picking the port that showed up when I plugged it in, I just wanted to make sure this thing actually works. So I'm uploading a super simple test. This will print a message to the serial monitor, which is a live text window where your board can talk to your computer. And as I'm sure you can see, this didn't work the first time, or the first few times. It was just not connecting, and I'm sitting there like, okay, what am I missing? So I started trying a bunch of random fixes, like holding the boot button while it was connecting, and then I tried holding boot and hitting reset and just kind of guessing my way through it. I mean, I literally was going into the settings trying to figure out if I had selected the wrong board perhaps. Literally didn't even consider that the port could have been the issue, because I thought, yeah, let's put it in the USB one, not the UART, because what the heck does that even mean? Look stuff up before you try it, maybe, Davina. Because upon further inspection, UART stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. Legit connects microcontrollers and like computers. I didn't show it, I guess, but once I switched to the right one, it connected instantly. Okay, that actually worked. And then when I went to open the serial monitor, there it was. So now I know I can actually talk to the board. The only weird thing was it was showing a bunch of gibberish at first. That's just because my baud rate didn't match. My ESP32 was sending data at 115,200 bits per second, but serial monitor was listening to it at a different speed. If they don't match, the data gets scrambled. So basically both sides have to be talking at the same speed, or it just looks like nonsense.
The next step is getting the screen to turn on, which is probably going to be way harder than this.